Hello, everybody. Welcome to our sports podcast. This is your host, Jaden. I'm joined by Anthony and Mauloa.
Morning.
Morning, boys.
I think we're going to talk a little today about Mauloa, right?
Yeah.
How's your journey been?
It's been a very long journey. I came a long way, but, also I'm grateful, for the man above, for guiding me in the right direction. So, yeah.
Right.
So let's just kind of go back to maybe when you were in high school and your decision on even coming to USF or maybe other schools you were thinking about going to.
Yeah, so originally I'm from Southern California. So I started my high school career at Chino Hills High School. So y'all know where, the famous Ball brothers, LaMelo Ball, Lonzo Ball, Jello. Yeah, so I went to that high school for all 4 years, never transferred to any other different school. I graduated during COVID time, so around 2021. It was a little weird. We had to play our football season during, the spring, and we're only granted like 5 games due to the governor, Gavin Newsom, only granted high school sports, especially football, for 5 games. And once after, that spring season, was kind of over, I went to a community college right after high school called Mount San Antonio, where I did my first 2 years there. So I walked in fresh out of high school at 17 years old and, just played right off the bat. And then after my sophomore year, which was around 2022-23 season, I was picking up a lot of Division I schools from, anywhere you can name of, like BYU, Old Dominion, Houston Christian, Morgan State. So I was picking up a lot of Division I schools all around. And then I ended up making my decision to go to Houston Christian. But when I signed and everything with that school, things didn't work out. And, I kind of parted ways with that staff, took a little gap year off during 2023. And then that's when, in 2024, that was when I first ever came to Sioux Falls.
How's your experience in Sioux Falls so far?
Honestly, it was a big culture shock because, I'm just a kid coming from a big city, and it's, Sioux Falls is only probably 100,000 people around here somewhere.
Yeah, 100,000.
100,000, yeah. It was a big culture shock. It wasn't compared to, LA where you could see, all the tall buildings and the Hollywood signs and the beaches and palm trees, It's a different scenery for me. But, yeah,
Different kind of athletes too, right?
Yeah.
Bigger boys up here in the Midwest.
So what's something you miss about the big city and something that you kind of appreciate or like about, a smaller city like Sioux Falls?
So what I miss about big cities is, one, obviously the food. We got the greatest food of all time, Mexican food. We got In-N-Out.
Everything you could want.
Everything you could think of. Canes too. I know there's Canes in the Midwest. It kind of migrated a little bit over to the Midwest, but doesn't taste the same as Canes from California. But and then compared to being out here in Sioux Falls, it's more of a slower pace kind of state. Everything feels so slow. I'm not lying. I wasn't really liking it at first because I'm like, man, I'm really in Sioux Falls, South Dakota.
This is a crazy place.
Never would have thought I'd be here, but here I am. But I mean, how I got here was one of our coaches. He's our defensive coordinator, Coach Cap. Shout out to him. He's been keeping on track with me since after I graduated high school. So he's been following me for quite some time. And then when I took that step down from Houston Christian, him and his staff, along with our head coach, Coach Glow, kept in contact with me. But I also had a couple other schools that I kind of had in mind that were Division I, and obviously this school is a smaller Division II school. It was in a very well-known conference. I was kind of familiar with this name because they have offered me before in the past, but I was kind of putting them in the back burner a little bit because my ego got a little high, and I was like, oh, I want to play Division I football, but I really had to put my pride to the side and just take this opportunity that was granted to me, because if I just didn't end up going to the school, I'd probably be working a 9 to 5 right now.
Right.
I kind of miss home, but
I think it's. I mean, anyone would rather play D1 over D2. I mean, that's kind of everyone's dream, but I think it says a lot about the coaching staff that has stayed in touch with you, and I'm sure that obviously stood out and made you more comfortable with wanting to come to Sioux Falls.
No, yeah. I mean, my coach, Coach Cap, he was a man of his word. everything that, he said over text or over, the phone calls we had, I trusted him. So, I put all my faith into him and, played for his defense, made his defense stand out. And, it was a good first year, but we'll get there later once you guys have, more questions and stuff.
Yeah. I mean, I got to see some of your film last night. It was pretty good. I mean, I saw that pick you had. I was like, whew, he out there playing.
I had 2 picks throughout. What are we talking about, my junior or my senior year?
I think I saw your junior year pick when you were playing out of town.
Oh, yeah, that was when we played. That was our first game, on the road to St. Thomas up in St. Paul. Actually, St. Thomas was a school that actually recruited me, and they turned me down and said I needed to take like 30 more extra credits, and I was just like, nah, that don't sound right. And I was just like, you got to be kidding me. So I'm like, you know what, like it's cool, coach. Like I'll just end up, playing somewhere else. And once when I found out who we were playing first game of the year, my first year here, I was like, oh yeah, St. Thomas, yeah, this is the school that turned me down. But I didn't play as much in that game. I was only in for like certain situations until, that opportunity was there, and I just, made the most of it. And that's when I got the interception. And I was kind of like, I was going to like run all the way down to the other end zone. And my coach was like, what you doing? I was like, nah, man, like, let me live my moment. Like, this is a school that turned me down. So, I feel some type of way.
You got to play out.
Yeah.
Can you, sorry to cut you off. I was just going to ask, like, can you think of maybe your favorite moment or play from, it could be your junior year or senior year, like something that stands out, like when you think back maybe 5-10 years from now, like what was like your favorite moment playing at USF?
Honestly, my favorite moment at USF, it was there's 2 games. So our first game was when we played against Mankato at their place. It was homecoming day for them. They had at least about, like 9,000 to 10,000 fans. They still had fans sitting outside in the the crazy stadium parking lot. You got fans in the student section. They had a whole band. It sounded like a true like Division I football
hostile
game.
Environment.
Yeah, hostile environment. Yeah, and that was a game where they had a an All-American receiver named Trey Watson who I was going to be guarding. So like I already knew like I was starting that game.
I had to be on your game.
Yeah, I had to be on my A game. I mean, he was one of the standout receivers in our conference. So like I had to show him like who I really was, and I'm like, I'm not gonna sit here and give that player no respect on the field. Like, don't get me wrong, he's a phenomenal athlete, like he's great, but it's just like when you lined up against me, like you're not gonna make no plays on me. You're not gonna.
Yeah, you have to have that mindset.
Yeah, you gotta have that mindset. Yeah.
Do you think that when you get out on that field, like your corner number 1, like you want to guard that number 1?
Yeah, most definitely. Like I always want to guard the number 1 receiver, and that's how I always been. Throughout like my whole football career, I always want to guard the best guy because I want to see, competition versus competition. Like I want the best on best, and I want to show people out there that why I'm the best corner and why you shouldn't target your number 1 receiver on that team. Right. But honestly, yeah, that game was a big game. I had about like 3 pass breakups, like 4 to 5 tackles, and I only gave up like 2 receptions for at least about like under like 20 yards. Yeah. And then
that's impressive too. Like I might be biased myself, but like I played corner in high school.
Yeah.
Like, corner is I think
one of the hardest
positions.
Maybe besides quarterback, I'll give them that, but corner I think is the hardest. And you got to have a short memory too, of course. I'm sure you would
short-term memory.
I mean, you could let up one play and it's 30-40 yards and everyone say, "Oh, you're trash." Right? "Oh, you had a bad game." But they won't look at the other 50 plays you had locked up.
But they'll stand up once when you make a play like like a pick six or like a strip fumble or whatever you could think of. Like it's all hat salute to you. But when you give up a catch and it's like game on the line, like oh yeah, you one of the most trashiest corners ever.
I think there's so many unsung heroes in like position wise. You got linemen, corners, some safeties. 100%. I mean, you do have some safeties that get notes taken about them. But other than that, I mean. They're in the back 3/4 of the field now getting talked about. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but
I mean, you guys are killing it.
Yeah, but that was probably by far one of my favorite games. And then my next game was, we're at home, we're playing Concordia St. Paul, and it was a pretty close game until like the 4th quarter. I had like a big momentum change in play where they had a running back, come out of the backfield, and he ran like a little 10-yard out That's when I just came in, made a textbook play, put my shoulder through his chest. Ball literally popped up in the air, and I'm looking for it. I'm like, oh, I need to go make the play.
Right.
Next thing you know, you see my my teammate Andy Henson. You guys seen him on the field.
Right,
he was coming out, right behind, making the pick. So I'm like, oh, he's probably gonna hurdle the dude. Nah, he just knowing Andy, he's one of those dudes that he's just, he's gonna put his face straight through your helmet. But like, he got the ball, he was running, and he just started, he wanted to run him over. I'm like, dude, like go hurdle him. Like, you right there by the end zone. Like, it's not that far. But honestly, that hit, obviously went viral on TikTok. So you might have seen it on some other like Instagram page, or probably I have TikTok too. I posted it on there, and it probably had like 1.2 million views. And yeah, that was probably one of my most standout games. I had Atomic Wings player of the game for, on the defensive side, and, a lot of other accolades for people on offense and special teams. But that was probably by far one of my most best games, at USF.
How do you feel about your senior season, just playing through it?
Honestly, our senior season, okay, for me, it was a great run. But, like, if we're speaking for, like, a team standpoint, it was a interesting but kind of, like, weird, like, senior year. Like, it didn't feel like it was bad, but, like, it was definitely off because, what hurt us most from going into the playoffs was obviously, number one, injuries. And, injuries are something that, you can't control unless if it's like something very small or minor. And it was like during that senior year, I'd say like right before week 3, I suffered a grade 2 AC shoulder sprain. So I literally got like a whole big bump on my left shoulder. And I already broke my collarbone like about 10 years ago. And yeah, everyone was just going down left and right. And I was just like, yo, like, what's going on? Like, we started off 3-0, and then we lost 3 games in a row. And I know we lost key to the city. I know that was a very big game, but we don't talk about that. We move on.
It's always next year.
Like what Jaden said, we gotta have short-term memory. So yeah. But yeah, I mean, it was a fun senior year. I say like probably like my most favorite game I had was playing in the snow. We played against
that was awesome.
We played against Wayne State, even though we lost to them, and they had good run strategy for their offense. It was just growing up, like playing in the snow was like definitely like on my bucket list as like a college athlete. Or I mean, not in high school. It don't snow in California, so it had to be somewhere else. Sioux Falls, South Dakota. So yeah, playing in the snow was definitely like a dream come true. Like, called my parents. I was like, "Look, Mom, like I know we lost, but I just had fun playing in the snow on my last home game." So like, there was some emotion, but it was a fun ride my senior year.
Yeah, that snow game made for some good Instagram pictures as well.
Yeah.
I mean, I know I only played with like Jaden in high school. I didn't get to come up to the college level, but that last game I had in high school was so like emotional. How was your last game?
Honestly, like it's bittersweet, and it's like for my senior day, obviously my family couldn't make it because I rather just save money because everybody's going through situations. So it's like they just didn't feel like the need to waste money to come out here to go back home just to be back home in a couple of weeks. And it's like they don't want to waste all that money. So literally, like, it was either someone was gonna walk out with me or I was just gonna walk out there by myself on my senior day. And I had one of my old high school coaches. So he's from the DMV, so District Columbia, Maryland, Virginia. So he's from that area. So he came down to SoCal when I was in high school around my junior year, which was like 2019 is when he first moved out of here. And then, we just had a very good relationship, after, high school and stuff. And we always talk on the phone, have long conversations, always talk about the league, which we will get there, later. But I asked him, I was just like, hey, like, this is like my last, home game of my senior year. Like, I was just wondering if you want to walk out there with me on my senior day. First, he had to get approval from his wife, so I was just like, okay, I'll let you do that first, because we got to see what the wifey says. But he agreed. So he got his flight, came straight out here, watched my game. And when he first came out to my game, everyone thought he was like some NFL scout. I was like, nah, he's just walking out with me. Like he's my old high school coach. Like that's who's walking out there with me on the field and stuff. But it was definitely emotional because it's just like after losing, it's just like I just wanted to win, on my last home game. And that's how it was like my senior night back in high school. It was against our rival school, and we ended up, losing, a crazy ton of points. And they put a straight donut on us. We didn't score nothing at all. So, like, definitely, I felt some type of way. But from high school senior night to college senior day, like, it was a little bit different. I would say, like, it's a little bit more fun, like I said, because, playing in the snow, like, that's something that everybody's always dreamed of. Like, you always see it on NFL games, like the Eagles and the Lions, or the Bills and whoever they play. Like, it's just there. Like, you see the fans, like, shoveling the stands and stuff for what? Like 15 to 18 an hour. Yeah, so, it was definitely emotional and bittersweet. But, I made the most of it and, enjoyed it so far because, you're only granted that once in your life. So,
right, absolutely. That's so much time on that field.
So, kind of shifting our focus now. We're just talking about USF. Now let's kind of focus to the future. You recently came out on Instagram, said you were declaring for the NFL draft. That's obviously a pretty big deal, pretty awesome. We're all very happy for you.
Oh, yeah. Thank you, guys. Thank you.
What went into that decision, and like what is your schedule like these next few weeks and months leading up to that, like the process?
So transitioning into the draft, obviously everyone's seen it on Instagram. Where do I even start? Obviously, being a small Division II player, you're not going to get that many looks unless if you put on like great highlights, or, you have accolades like your all conference or your all American. Most NFL scouts want those coming from, Division II, like a player from a Division II school. Mm-hmm. And it was like, in the conference that I'm in, there's politics and it can go so many ways. And I'm not going to speak on it too crazy that, I'm not sitting here and, bad mouthing people, but, people get selected and it's just like, okay, I just move on about my business. But other than that, like my transition, going into the draft, it's like nowadays, you got to have agents and stuff like that who could vouch for you in front of these NFL scouts. And for me, it was a little bit of a disadvantage because I didn't have that. Mm-hmm. And I wish that was something I should have known like early in my college career. So I just went out my way just to email a bunch of schools that were nearby me, like South Dakota State, University of South Dakota, North Dakota State, University of Minnesota, Northern Iowa, like all those schools that are like in that Midwest region.
Right.
And, I just sent them an email just waiting for one of them to respond back. And South Dakota State was the first school to reach out, and they gave me, they granted me access to, participate in their pro day along with some other, athletes that are in the NSIC, like schools like Northern State. Like that's the only school. Like they have like two players that are doing a pro day at South Dakota State. So obviously, all this is brand new to me. And, I'm still learning from, this experience. But like this is going to be one of the biggest job interviews like ever in my life. So I got to make the most of it, and I always thank God every single day for, for him doing his magic and guiding me into the right direction. And, I honestly think, this is going to be a very interesting, pro day for me. It's on March 27th, which is coming up very close. I've just been, other than that, like my schedule, like it's been pretty busy, with just working out. And I also, have a job. So I'm trying to like balance that as well. Mm-hmm. But more focus is just on, focusing on my pro day, making sure I'm running, great times, making sure like I look fluid, like acting like I've been there before, but even though this is like a new experience to me. So I definitely, want to walk in with that mindset of just like, get it done, just do you, don't think about it too much. Like just act like it's another, act like it's another college game. But like this time we're thinking bigger. We're talking about the NFL. So like definitely got to walk in with, confidence and, just
a little chip on your shoulder. But also at the end of the day, stay blessed and thank God that, you're able to make it this far, because not that many people can say like, oh, like I've gotten a pro day or I went and got signed by an NFL team or got drafted. Because like there's 1,000 kids in this world that would, die and trade to be in my shoes to, live this type of moment. Mm-hmm. And that's why I always say like I'm always grateful for these, situations that I get put in, even though like there's a lot of, adversity I overcome and, I always got to take 2-3 steps back. Like I'm always just going to be the person that's just going to,
work 10 times harder. And, I'm always the person to figure it out by himself because that's just, how I was brought up, growing up. I wasn't really spoon-fed, so I just wanted to make sure, like, I got things done on my own and had nobody, next to me, spoon-feeding me. So
that's a great mindset.
Right. Yeah.
Making me pumped up.
I want to go get on that field and run through a wall right now. Like, you got to tell. I mean, if I was you, that's exactly what I would tell the scouts if I met.
Oh yeah, exactly what you just said. Honestly, I mean, that was great.
It's like a job interview, man. Like 100%. When you have a job that pays good and has a good salary, annual income, like that's what you got to think of, because like think about it. Not only like if you're just like on an active roster, like on a 53-man, like if you're on a practice squad, you're still getting paid enough, like
$600,000 to $500,000,
something like that, depending on like what round you was drafted in, or if you're like an undrafted person, you could still get paid up to like
6 figs.
Oh yeah,
like 6 figs, or like
I've seen some big UDFA contracts lately.
Yeah, or like for a practice squad player, if you've been there on a team for like more than like a year or so, like you get paid about. I did the research. I think it was like $13,500, which is like a week.
Which is
not bad at all.
Which is not bad, but it's like obviously everyone wants to shoot for the bigger paper, the bigger bag, as what people say nowadays. But I mean, money is still money. But like we could always put that to the side. It's never about it's just about living the experience and stuff like that. Like, I just want to be, the one to say, like, oh, I was a part of an NFL team. Like, I was, part of the practice squad. I get to, travel different, states and cities and play these teams and, live in that moment. Like, that's the only thing, like, I care about. Like, money can always come later.
Right.
You feel what I mean? So it's like, I can always put that to the side.
There's always more money to be made.
Yeah, there's always more money to be made. But also, like, to get paid, like, you make plays on the field. That's how you get paid. So
that is true.
Yeah.
Sure. So, like, by God's grace, I hope you make it to the NFL. I know Jaden does too.
Thank you, guys.
But if that didn't work out, would you ever think about going to Europe or going to like a UDF?
I mean, honestly, like whatever league that's willingly and like taking free agents, or just people like in my position, like, who are trying to like get to some sort of professional league, like I don't mind. Like as long as I'm playing football in a professional league, like I would take the opportunity to go anywhere, like UFL, CFL, or maybe if I have to go overseas, like I would do it. Like I'll take that risk and make a name for myself wherever I'm playing at. So it's not just always the NFL. Like you always got other like backup options, and there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that at all.
Never.
Like some people are just strictly, oh, I want to go to NFL, screw all these other leagues. Like, nah, bro. Like you got to put your pride to the side and actually consider like all these other leagues that are out there that you could possibly be in and play at, and and make something out of it.
Right. You might not be even in your prime yet. You get to that Europe league, you get to that wherever you're going to go, UFL, whatever, and then you start hitting numbers you never thought you could hit. Yeah. I mean, that's where I hope.
Because nobody knows when their prime starts. Like things can just happen, whenever. Say like, you're going into your second year of, whatever league you're in, CFL, NFL, UFL, like you could hit your prime like after your second season, going into your third year. Like it just happens. Like if you just make plays, like there's gonna be a lot of heads turning and a lot of eyes on you, and things could happen, and it could switch over time. Like I've seen players from the UFL and the CFL go straight back to the NFL. Like it always don't got to be the NFL right after college. Like if I can name a player right now, what's his name? Tyler Vaughns. He was a receiver from USC. Victor Bolden. I think he played at Oregon State, but he was with like the Colts and the Niners. He played for a UFL team. I don't know the UFL or CFL teams. I'm not.
Me neither.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you guys don't. But like they have bounced their ways from from UFL, CFL, NFL. Like I've seen that transition happen before, and I'm pretty sure y'all seen that player from the Browns who was a homeless dude who just snuck into a tryout and actually made it on a team.
The Broncos, what's his name? That running back.
I can't remember.
I can't remember his name, but I know exactly who you're talking about.
Yeah, like he just snuck in through a tryout, made it on the roster, and look what he did. He scored a freaking punt return. Like,
right. I mean, he had 2 years to where he almost was considered to be on the Madden cover, and then he kind of disappeared. But I mean, That was just.
Are you talking about Philip Lindsay?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. No, he went to Colorado.
Philip Lindsay did go to Colorado.
He went to Colorado.
You're thinking about the other dude. No, you're right. You're right. I'm not.
I can't think of the name, but
I can't think of his name either. But he did sneak into that tryout.
And this is kind of a different example, but even just looking at Sam Darnold, I mean,
Sam Darnold.
I mean, he didn't go to like UFL, CFL, or whatever, but I mean, drafted by my Jets, obviously.
Yeah.
Bounced around a couple teams, Panthers,
Vikings.
49ers, Vikings.
And then,
everyone counted him out. I mean, I even counted him out. Like,
I did too.
Goes to the Seattle Seahawks and wins a freaking Super Bowl.
Right.
Like,
last year I counted him out. I thought he was seeing ghosts. I thought he was going to go to the Seahawks this year and see ghosts. But,
yeah, I mean, this is year 8, year 9, and it's just, now it's clicking for him.
I knew once when, he got, like, traded to different teams in the NFL, like, yeah, everyone was counting him out, but I was just like, watch Sam Darnold win a Super Bowl. Yeah. And look what happened. He just won a Super Bowl against the Patriots. He's the first ever, USC quarterback to ever do it. And there's other great quarterbacks from USC, like Caleb Williams.
Carson Palmer. I think.
Yeah, Carson Palmer. Yeah, Carson Palmer. He's another SoCal native too. He went to San Clemente. Now he's a coach over there at San Clemente High School.
Yep. Oh, really?
Yeah, and actually Sam Darnold, I'm actually close with one of his not close, but like I'm friends with his cousin. He went to San Clemente as well too, and he bounced around to other different schools. But I think he's going to play ball overseas and stuff like that. He went to University of Arizona. He went to Southern Utah. He's went to other places. So he's played at like every single division you could think of. Yeah,
right.
Yeah, it just kind of goes to show never give up.
I mean, at least, and you can tell me if I'm wrong, but when I look at D1 to D3, I mean, the big difference I've seen, like the linemen. I mean, those skill players, they will make the plays if they're good. Yeah. And if they're not, they won't. They won't. I mean, the big thing is size. I mean, your size just changes throughout divisions.
And it's just like, if you're coming from like a small school and trying to make a name for yourself going into the league, it's just like you gotta have the crazy amount of connections in order to get to that next level. I know the Reese Senior Bowl just happened for all Division I FBS college football players. There was happened a Division III receiver. I think he came from what's that school? I want to say John Carroll. I don't know if I'm wrong, but he came from a small D3 school, and he stood out going up against a lot of Division I corners, and he actually won Reese's Bowl. I think like offensive MVP
really?
or something like that. Yeah, like if you take a look at if you just type in like D3 receiver at Reese Senior Bowl, like they'll like tell you like who they're talking about, and like he happened to be a standout guy, and I was just like, yo, like this is a Division III player. Like I've seen it happen. Division II, Division III, even NAIA players. Like actually, matter of fact, I think. No, he was D3. He was not NAIA.
I can't remember if Adam Thielen.
Adam Thielen
was a D2 or D3 kid.
Yeah, he went to Mankato too. Yeah, he went to Mankato, and then he got picked up by the Vikings, and he's been
balling since. I mean,
balling since. He went to
great career.
Went to the Panthers. Yeah, no, great career by Adam Thielen.
Tried to get in there this year with the Steelers, but
yeah, I mean, Adam Thielen, like he's the example. Like it don't matter what division you play at. It's just like. He was able to say, like, oh, I went D2 and still made it to the league. Like, I'm pretty sure he's relaying that message to all other Division II athletes, and everyone's kind of, taking that into consideration. I'm obviously taking that into consideration, for the situation I'm going in and preparing, for these past couple months and moving forward. So it's like, if he can do it, I can do it. But it's like I also got to keep God next to me. So I don't want to walk in there with a super high ego because that could, restrict me from, certain opportunities, being brought up to me. So I always got to walk in with a great mindset.
Right.
Well, I feel like that's a great way to wrap it up.
Yeah, a great way to wrap it up.
I mean, I know USF is behind you. I know we're behind you. I hope you make it. I hope you make it to the Vikings. But or the Jets. I mean,
or the Jets. We can use you.
But thank you for your time. I mean, it was a great talk
thank
today.
You. Yeah, thank you guys for having me. On this talk show. So yeah. It was great.
I'm sure you got one thing on your mind, and we hope you get there.
Oh yeah, thank you guys.
Yep. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you for joining our sports podcast. See you next time.
See you next time.
See you next time.